Taurus, welcome to your 5-card movie star spread. As per usual, you can click right on that description box below and it will talk about the significance of the spread as well as the placement of each individual card. Whew. Here we go. It's interesting. Okay, Taurus. You are having trouble making a choice on how to bring an idea into fruition. There's something on the inside of you, okay? There's something in your perspective, in your world. This is a little globe in his hand. So something in his world that he wants to bring out to the world, okay? So this is taking something from the 5D, from your subconscious and bringing it into the 3D, which is your conscious. So you're having trouble making a decision and making a plan on how to bring this idea into fruition. Okay. I've had a lot of 5s, so I've been saying this a lot today, but the 5s are about chaos and uncomfortable change. The 5s come into our lives to show us the things that we do not want. And as you start to recognize more and more things that you do not want, you are inevitably left with a smaller choice of the things that you do want. So there was a time period, or there is a time period, this either very recently happened or is happening right now, where it's talking about dealing with situations where you feel like you had to come out of a place of lacking. You had to overcome chaos in regards to your health, your wealth, or your network, the way you leverage your tribe. Okay. So the lesson of what you don't want has already been learned because you're coming out of that point of confusion and chaos regarding your resources. And the whole thing between not having that plan and going through this change where you didn't have resources for a while and recognizing that you're coming out of it has left you a little codependent on something. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean another person. It could be. It doesn't necessarily mean finance. It could be. But more so than anything else, it feels to me like it's an emptiness. It's not like you're codependent on a person or a thing. Rather, it feels like there's a void left inside you and you're searching for something out here to fill the void. That's what I feel right now, which is how we wind up in codependence, is when we think something out here can fill this emptiness inside. When really what we need to do is we need to look inside and make some changes within ourselves in order to fill that spot and bring that happiness in. Another person or even an object, because people do like retail therapy. I know a lot of people got their stimulus checks and a lot of people went shopping with it in order to like feel like, oh, I have this thing, in order to make them happy. A thing or a person can bring you happiness from time to time, and that's okay. But if that thing or that person becomes your main source of happiness, well, then there's a problem, okay? So it kind of feels like at this moment you're searching for something out there to make you feel better in here. So recognize that if you have a bullet hole, you might just be putting a Band-Aid on it. I guess that's the best way to describe that overall energy. So now with your journey, you're trying to get your resources back on track. Okay. So maybe you recognized that there is something out here that is malleable to a point to bring in that temporary happiness in order for you to sit down and make a plan for more long-term happiness. And that's okay. We do what we need to do in the moment to make things happen. But if we're recognizing that something isn't that long-term fulfillment, don't rely on that long-term. So it seems to me like you're making a plan to better adjust your resources so you don't have these moments of lacking. But again, in the you position, the protagonist position, you don't know how to get that plan from inside started. It's almost like you're missing the first step to really get it from inside where you are and bring it into the real world. Why is that? Overthinking. This is the second time this card popped up today, but this always reminds me of Hamlet. If you're familiar with Hamlet, you can look at this card and know exactly what I'm talking about. But this is a prison of her own making. She is stuck with a certain perception, okay, that she's stuck. So because she's blindfolded, she doesn't see the swords around her. And if she went to one of those swords, she could cut herself free from the ropes, take off the blindfold, and see her way out of the situation. But she's just standing there because she feels like, oh, gee golly, what can I do? Right? So this is almost a prison of her own making. Did she put herself there? Probably not. But is she stuck there because she's stuck in her own head and not stepping back and looking at other possibilities, not exploring her environment to see if there's anything she can do? Yeah. So what I have to say about this is, and I think I've said this to Taurus before, let's take all the blame off of you. Let's say that the wound that you're dealing with is not your fault at all. Okay? But the responsibility for healing that wound is yours. You know? If you get mugged and stabbed, and I hope that doesn't happen to anybody, but if you get mugged and stabbed, that isn't your fault. Okay? Shitty people do shitty things. It happens. But now you have this wound. You literally have this open bleeding wound, and there's nobody else around. It is your, if you want to heal, you have to go to the emergency room and get stitched up. And then you have to take care of that wound until it actually heals. So, like I said, whatever it is that you're dealing with may not be your fault, but the responsibility for healing it is. So what you need to do is you need to get out of your head. You need to step back and you need to look at your environment so you can go with your plan of managing your resources better so you don't wind up in this codependent energy where you feel stuck. I almost feel like I don't need to pull more cards, but I will. Yeah, okay. So the Lovers in the inverse. This is possibly a separation that you're dealing with. And it doesn't necessarily mean a breakup or walking out of your job. This could just be letting go of an idea, of a value system. This is you separating from a group of people or one particular person, either way around it. Or this is you separating from the old ideas that you used to have in your head. But it's hard. It's hard to let go of these things. It's hard to wrestle with that shadow side. Okay? Can you come to terms with your right brain and your left brain, your light side and your dark side, any dual energy that you have regarding this separation? You have to come to terms with it. And right now you feel like you cannot communicate those ideas, and you certainly don't want to communicate ideas regarding your resources, and you feel like you don't have the recipe to move forward. Taurus, you are stuck because you lack a different perspective. You feel like this is it. You want out. You want to get out of this place of lacking, and you want to manage your resources better, but you're just not taking the steps to go there. I would say, rather than standing still, a step in any direction is better, because at least it's a start. Taurus, I hope you found a message that serves your highest good. I really wish you luck with this energy. This is a very tough energy to be in. So you have my empathy. And I will see you next week.